Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's edition of Monday Night Raw, broadcast live on the USA Network from the Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas. In the main event, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens made their 11th successful defense of the title, defeating Imperium's Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser when Zayn pinned Kaiser. The match marked Owens and Zayn's third successful defense on television and their first on Monday Night Raw. In the show's opening segment, Rhea Ripley's SmackDown Women's Championship was retired, and she was presented by Adam Pearce with a new belt signifying her as the Women's World Champion.
Rhea, on behalf of WWE, it is my distinct pleasure to present you with this in official recognition of your status as the brand new Women's World Champion.
Later in the segment, Cody Rhodes challenged Dominic Mysterio to a match on July 1st at Money in the Bank, and the challenge was accepted by Ripley on Mysterio's behalf. Following the segment, Rhodes defeated Miz in a one-on-one match. In the night's Money in the Bank qualifying match, Damian Priest defeated Matt Riddle to gain admission into the men's ladder match on July 1st. Imperium attacked Riddle after the match. Also on the show, WWE World Champion Seth Rollins confronted Finn Balor during an in-ring promo segment and accepted Balor's challenge for a title match at Money in the Bank.
I've made memories, I've made history, I've made moments that these people will never forget. And I've done that because I changed, I adapted, I rolled with the punches, I got better every single day, and now I am the greatest version of Seth freaking Rollins. You want the proof? The proof is right here. It's the World Heavyweight Championship. You want to crack at it at Money in the Bank? You are on.
In other results, Bronson Reed pinned Ricochet via disqualification due to outside interference from Shinsuke Nakamura. Becky Lynch beat Chelsea Green by submission. Women's Tag Team Co-Champion Shayna Baszler pinned Raquel Rodriguez. And Chad Gable of Alpha Academy pinned Eric of the Viking Raiders. In All Elite Wrestling news, producer and trainer BJ Whitmer was fired from the company yesterday in the wake of an arrest earlier this month on domestic violence charges. Whitmer was released yesterday on $25,000 bail after being charged with strangulation in the first degree, which carries with conviction a potential sentence of 5 to 10 years in prison in the state of Kentucky, where the arrest took place on June 4th. Stated AEW in its official statement, quote, "While talent and staff are ultimately responsible for their own personal actions, this behavior is intolerable within AEW. AEW has reached out to offer their support to those impacted by his behavior," end quote. Whitmer had been with AEW since the company was founded in 2019. In business news, the exclusive TV rights negotiating window between WWE and both Fox and NBC Universal has expired, according to a report in the New York Post, meaning that the company is now permitted to simultaneously negotiate with other interested parties for the rights to air Raw and SmackDown. Both Amazon Prime Video and Disney were reported to be among those interested, according to the Post's Andrew Marchand, with Disney potentially looking to put WWE programming on its FX platform. Apple and Warner Bros. Discovery were also mentioned as outside shots, with Marchand specifically pointing out that Warner Bros. Discovery, which currently airs AEW programming on TBS and TNT, is not bound to an exclusivity deal with the company and could potentially air both WWE and AEW programming if such a deal were made. Despite the broadening of negotiations, Marchand also points out that Fox and NBC Universal still remain the favorites to continue airing SmackDown and Raw respectively under a renewed deal. In more WWE news, WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns is being advertised for his first house show title defense in more than 3 months. The Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, site of next Saturday's WWE Super Show, has announced that Reigns is scheduled to defend the title against Rey Mysterio on the card. This would be his first non-televised defense since facing Sami Zayn in Toronto on May 4th, and his 5th non-televised defense in the past 12 months. Reigns has not wrestled since last month's Night of Champions premium live event and has not defended the title since WrestleMania. AEW's new Saturday Night TV program, Collision, set to premiere this weekend, will air live in some international markets on Fight Plus, according to an official announcement. The United Kingdom, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, and other countries that don't currently have a TV or streaming deal for AEW will be a part of the Fight Plus deal. In countries outside the U.S. that already have streaming deals for AEW content from outlets such as DAZN or TSN Plus, AEW programming will not be included on the Fight Plus platform. Fight Plus already airs AEW's Dynamite and Rampage in select international markets as part of its AEW Plus subscription plan, and AEW Collision will be added to those offerings in the included markets. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.